Hey guys, today I wanted to revisit something that can never be revisited too often. Right? This is mental toughness training. So in training, we do repetitions, we repeat stuff, we do similar exercises, and it's smart. We change it up from time to time, but then we go back to some of the fundamentals, and we're going to cover one of them today. Perhaps the most fundamental of the fundamentals. But real quickly before we get to it, as a reminder, if you're not getting notifications in your email of these newly released blog posts or my Tough Talks interviews, conversations on mental toughness, or if you're not getting my daily dose mental toughness tips in 30 seconds or less every morning in your mailbox, your email box at 6 a.m., your local time, then I recommend you go to christopherdorris.com/lists, Lists, and change that up. Name, email, click, and you're on both lists. christopherdorris.com/lists. Now, here's the fundamental. It's about emotional mastery. We have access in every single moment of our lives to every single possible emotional state that exists. I am going to repeat that because it bears, if you've been following my stuff, you've heard me say that before, and you're going to hear me say it again. You're going to hear me say it again right now. We have, you have access right now, in this moment. You're just watching and listening to a blog post. You watch a dude on a screen. That's what's going on in your world right now. And in this very moment, you have access to every single emotional state that exists. All you got to do is think your way into it. You don't need anything to change in the outer world. You don't need anything to go on, anything to happen. I do this exercise all the time in my workshops. It's very powerful. We're going to do a mini version of it right here. Think of something that happened in your life that you would identify as tragic. So what I'm asking you to do is to choose, this is very mindfully selected language I'm using here. Choose to fill your mind with the distinct thought content that happens to be of something that you consider to be tragic. Something that happened in your life that you deem or interpret as tragic. And choose to fill your mind with that memory right now, which is simply thought. And as you do that, you'll notice that if you're doing it, you'll notice every time, if you're doing it, what happens instantly is emotions arise as a consequence of that choice. The choice to fill your mind with that kind of thinking, right? The memory of something that you consider to be tragic, right? So then tragic-like emotions arise, whether it's despair or sorrow or panic or whatever it might be. They're all low-grade states. You just activated them sitting probably in a chair or whatever, listening to this blog post. That's it. You just activated dark states by simply thinking for a second. Okay, that's fascinating. Wow, truly powerful. Oh, well, let's try to flip that to a different end of the spectrum of human emotions. Choose right now to fill your mind with the memory of something that was just truly beautiful, something spectacular and wonderful that occurred in your life, right? It's a truly beautiful event or moment. And as you do that, you'll notice that what happens is instantly a totally distinct set of emotions arise that are all lighthearted, high-grade states, like gratitude, appreciation. You might even get a little choked up with joy, beauty, appreciation, enthusiasm, all the high-grade states that, by the way, activate all forms of intelligence, but we'll get back to that. So what you just did, if you're able to do that, and that was a super accelerated version of the exercise, but it's still effective if you did it, you just demonstrated that you can access, but just sitting around, you could just, at any moment of any time, you can just think your way into all different states. Like if you were going to get paid $1,000 I'll give you 60 seconds to create the state of jealousy, you could do it. What would you do? You would just think of something. You would think of like a person having something that you wanted that you don't have, and you would think that sucks. That's unique thinking. That's just a specific quality of thought that will always result in a very distinct and specific emotional state. Right? So if you're going to get paid $1,000 and given a minute to do it, you could create a state of gratitude. You could create a state of blank. You could just do it, okay? And what the do it entails is simply thinking your way into it. That could be enough. We're going to take a step further and just talk about one unique state that's really fun and cool and sometimes very, very useful to choose to think your way into, to choose to voluntarily activate in a moment's time. But that alone, right there, right? That's a huge takeaway, right? And a reminder. that you have the ability, so let's practice exercising it, the ability to choose to think your way into any state at any moment. Now, you have that ability, but when stuff goes down, that's like a big deal to you. If you're not trained, if you're not in good shape here, then you can't access that ability. You can't use it. It's just like being out of shape physically. If you're going to go hike the Grand Canyon, but you haven't worked out, it ain't going to work. You can climb down, you ain't get back up unless you got a helicopter. So in the same exact way, psychologically speaking, if you haven't put in the reps and you haven't trained yourself to respond, if you haven't trained yourself to have response-ability, the ability to respond purposefully, intentionally in different situations, especially the ones that matter to you, then you're not going to be able to access that. You can't do it. Right? So you got to get the reps in all day, every day. That's why I say like the most mentally tough people choose to exist in a state of perpetual self-inquiry, always asking themselves questions like, how's my thinking? What's the state that I'm thinking my way into in this moment? Is it cool? Is it serving me? Does it need some love? Could it use an upgrade? Right? Like living in that. So you're getting in reps all day, every day, so that when an event occurs in your life that actually does matter to you, not like traffic, right? Then you have the ability to choose your response and be masterful. For example, say like you're a salesperson for like a huge, enterprise software industry or company, and like you've been working on this deal for like a year or two, like a huge multi-million-dollar contract with like American Airlines or something, like $3 million deal to sell your software, and your number one point of contact at American is getting fired. They've been notified that they're being let go. And then you hear that, you catch wind of that. Now, your ability to respond, your response ability is going to be completely governed in that. First of all, it's critical how you respond to that, right? To the deal, to maximizing the probability of having something still productive come of it. The likelihood of anything valuable or good coming of that, if you haven't put in the reps and you aren't able to exercise your ability to respond masterfully, then your default response will be anger, disappointment, and panic, right? That will be your default. That is the out of shape default response to adversity. And I go like this, I use air quotes for adversity because to the mentally tough mind, the trained mind, there is no such thing as adversity. There aren't adverse situations, they're just situations, and we create from them all. So the trained response to that same example, you find out that your number one point of contact is getting canned and the whole deal might be going down, then is okay. All right, so here's the deal. Didn't see that coming. All right, let's get into creator mode, okay? Not what we asked for, not what we anticipated. Let's get into enthusiastic creativity mode. Guys, what are we going to create from this? Let's open up our minds right now to the possibility that this whole thing's falling through, okay? That's a possibility. All right, so if that does occur, then let's make the agreement and the decision right now. Like now, we are going to create something that's even better than the $3 million deal we were hoping to sign this week. And we wouldn't have even thought of it if it wasn't for this. Are we all on board on that? That's creator mode, all right? We're dealing with what is masterfully. So that's not even a possible, you can't even consider that. That thinking would never be possible. Right? It would never occur to the untrained mind. All right, now let's talk about that one state that I wanted to reference, which is, and I'm going to let you label it. You can give it a name, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to tell you a story from my childhood that I love to remember in order to create this state for myself during certain situations. All right, and here it is. When we were kids, growing up, we had the great fortune of, for several years, going during the week, December 26th, the week between Christmas and New Year's, for like 4 or 5 days, we would drive or fly down, our family, 3 kids, mom and dad, from South Jersey, where we lived, to Orlando, Florida, to go to Disney World. How great is that nickname? I love that the nickname for Disney World is the Magic Kingdom, because the moment that I want to share with you is the moment when I would walk through the turnstiles, not even just the first day, it's every day that we would go into the entrance into Disney World. You go through the turnstile, right? You give them your ticket or whatever it is, and then you go through that thing that clicks. And as soon as I go through the turnstile, and then I'm this far inside the park, the amusement park, which I think is another great term. That is a great term. Amusement park. A park filled with amusement. A kingdom full of magic. As soon as I walk through, I'm like, oh my God, all there is, all day, all there is awesomeness. Let's go. You call it whatever you want. I got plenty of names for it, and they're all great. That's an amazing state. And it's not just a fun, joy-filled state. It's actually an intelligent state, right? It's an intelligent state, not for all situations, but for certain ones. For example, when I was flying to San Francisco to do a talk one day, on the same day, for one of the companies I do a lot of work with, everything that could go wrong traveling went wrong. And of course, I'm using air quotes again because it's not, I don't view things as going wrong. I view things as going, but most people view them as like when it's not what you wanted or expected, it's wrong. Which, by the way, I encourage you strongly to discard that limiting belief because it's not true. It's just a low-grade interpretation of reality. So what happened was, people were freaking out. This is like over the hours of like delays and I'm not gonna. I actually recorded a video of it. I'll put that in. I'll put the link to that. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's entitled "How to Capitalize on Enthusiasm." I'll put the link in here somewhere. So it's a exactly 27 minute long video because I wanted to tell the whole story in full detail because it's amazing. Only amazing this happened because of this. Because I thought my way into that same state that I had as a kid, walking through the turnstile into the Magic Kingdom. So, because I'm watching people on this plane freak out. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of details because I want to spoil it in case you want to watch the video because it's kick-ass. But everybody's getting freaked out, pissed off, or discouraged and bummed out. And I saw all of it. In fact, one dude was freaking out, angry on the phone with a reservation agent, just like, God, man, mean. And he's right next to me. And people are going, whoa, including me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go the opposite direction of that. I'm going to the other end. So what I did was I created the state of me walking through the turnstile. I got like, woo, I got amped, I got pumped, I got excited and enthused, literally. And then I dialed the phone and called the reservation agent. And like Julie answered the phone. She goes, hi, this is Julie, how can I help you? I'm like, Julie, my name is CD. We got a game, we got a little contest, and I need your help. We're gonna win this. And she's like, whoa, right on. Okay, this is, wow, I don't get calls like this too much. This is fun. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it is. It'll be fun and we're gonna win. But I need your help and your creative genius. And then what happened was miracles. Stuff I couldn't have even predicted for the rest of the day. All good things. So here's the point. I'm going to sum this up. Is we have the ability, 2 points here. One is we have the ability to think our way, to access and create any and every emotional state in every moment. We won't be able to do that if we don't practice. So practice every day. Okay. So, and the second point is that the higher grade states always lead to higher grade outcomes. The end. The mantra for this is create the state, don't wait. Don't wait for anything great to go before you feel enthused. Don't wait for to get to Disney World to create that state. And the flip of that is ain't bad, just is, and make it better if you want. Like when stuff doesn't go your way, you can, fine, ain't bad, just is me not getting what I want, and let's go create some magic from it. Yeah, in the Magic Kingdom, which is here. All right, folks, good times. Until next time, create miracles.